Yeah, how'd I get rid of the background? Hold up. I still have that
I love the background, man. I love that you go to the video and you remove the virtual background.
Yeah.
My guy.
There we go.
Yasin, أخبارك, bro? Oh.
هلا والله كيف حالك يا ياسين؟
Assalamu alaikum, peace and love, ladies and gentlemen, and hello, welcome to Buckle Up, the Lockdown Edition. This is a really, really special one. As you can see right here, we have, whether they like it or not, they are really, really some of our heroes and people that I really look up to. I enjoy their music. I really, one of them actually is the reason, actually two of them, Offendum will be joining us, and Narcy is reasons why I started blogging back in 2007. And this is just really incredible. So I want you guys to make some noise for yourself. We got ThanksJoey, Narcy, and Nico. What's up, my brothers?
It's me. We're here.
Peace and blessings, man. Nico, I just want to introduce you to my followers. You're obviously American, Brazilian hip-hop artist, an incredible creative, guys. So salute, man. Peace and love from the Middle East to you, my brother.
Chill, recognize chill,
Nico's actually an Arab deep down inside. His genetic code he's been around us for so long that he got DNA. So you know what I mean? He's actually Arabi. Arabi, man.
Yeah.
When I was growing up with Joey and DP, at first he couldn't call me Nico.
Because I'd bring him to he would come over to my house. Mind you, we were
like, Nico, yeah.
Yeah. And my dad was like, what up? Don't call him that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, that's his name.
I know. That's so funny. Yasin, of course, يعني أنت صراحة, you're thank you for everything that you do. I know you might get bored of me saying that to you, but man, thank you for everything that you do, my brother, man. Peace and love to you. Thank you for inspiring me.
It's family.
Yeah. Thanks, Joey. Man, oh man. Actually, I'm gonna start. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna start with ThanksJoey real quick. ThanksJoey, you've worked with these three incredible MCs. Offendum is not here, but he will join us. Obviously, with Nico releasing an album last month, with the Yasin, Narcy releasing an album this month, and Offendum releasing an album next month. Now, the question is, who's the best MC out of these three? Quick.
Come on now.
Listen. It's not debatable. It's incredible.
It's coming through. No, but really, jokes aside, okay, how different yet similar is working with these guys? I'll be interested because your style of production, how is it working with these guys? Start from Nico to Narcy to Offendum.
Great question. For
Nico,
me,
can you stop playing with your hair?
Nico in his natural habitat, dog. Let him play.
Sorry. It's Buckle Up Lockdown Edition. Let's go.
Smells great, bro. Smells like argan and jojoba.
I'm just jealous.
Did you put the argan oil today?
I did. I jojoba the boy. Look at that.
Come on.
That's how you know it's good. All right. So listen, working with, first of all, I'm honored. I'm grateful. Like, these guys are my brothers, all three of them. Narcy, from meeting Narcy a few years back. I've known Nico since 12, 13 years old. We started making music when we were 13 years old, man. So I've got thousands of songs with Nico. And Ahmad, actually I got introduced by Ahmad, or by Yasin to Ahmad a few years back. But every single one of them is just like incredible in their own right, but so similar in their love for rap. Like, they're all rappers, you know what I'm saying? And Nico and Narcy especially are very similar in the way that they work. Like, we can be locked up in a room and they're just on go, like nonstop writing. Like, we'll finish songs really, really quickly. Nico especially, like me, because we've established this relationship for years on end, we can knock out songs like it's water at this point. But I was really surprised when I got in with Yasin. I got to work with Yasin in New York last year. And we got the whole setup, started making stuff from scratch, and he was just as quick with it. And it's not just like speed, but also like the types of raps, right? So the not necessarily like content, but how how do I say, like multis and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm terrible.
Dexterity.
No, not dexterity. I'm talking about like the analogies, man. Like
okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like the wittiness, the fun that they had in the lyrics. For all three of them, I think is what like ties them together. But each in their own right, you know. So Narcy's, you know, very like Arab, right, centric, like, but also very internet. Niko's super Brazilian, super like Southern, is South American. Omar is in his own like, you know, Syrian, Damascene world. So, but
it's amazing, man. I shout you out, man, because it's not really, I think it's not an easy job really to work with these three incredible MCs, human beings. Niko, Good Air album dropped actually on my birthday. So shout out to you for that. April 27th, was it? Am I right?
Hey, yeah, we dropped it everywhere on the 27th. On the 420, we dropped it on our website for 1 week.
Nice. So you featured Narcy on Good Air with I Love That song, and you're featured on his also song, you know, and also featured, I believe, with Omar. I really want to take the opportunity, first of all, to ask you, how is it like working with, you know, two of, in my opinion, my humble opinion, two of the most top Arab rappers that we have, that we take pride in. How does it feel like to work with Omar and Narcy?
It feels like I've known these guys forever, you know? I feel like, you know, the universe brings people together for a reason. You know, it brought me and Joey together. It brought me and Narcy together by chance at the Kennedy Center in DC, you know, through Quali. Same with Omar. And I think these guys are incredible, right? And they're incredible in parts that I'm not as great as, you know? So I think that together we complete each other. That's why, like, I think Joey's working with, like, if you take all three of us and put it together, it's like, that's the ultimate MC. You know what I'm saying? There's things Omar does phenomenally that I can't do. He has so much conviction. Everything he says, it's like, you know, he says a word, it's like the door. You know, it's like you believe it. You know, there's conviction in it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, you work with Narcy and his just like his understanding for pocket and being able to like bring his thoughts into like tangible feelings, like that's incredible, you know? So like I'm very humbled to work with them, and now it's like I feel like Joey finally gets to, you know, show all his like greatness, because he's just been working with me, and I mean we make amazing stuff, but I feel like there's always been a little thing that he wanted to do that maybe I don't specialize in, which is mainly the Arabic shit. So to work with these guys, you know, like I think that's full circle. I think that's amazing for him, and he's grown in certain ways. I'm mad that all these beats I didn't get him first. You know, like Narcy's album is like, damn, like I wanted that beat, you know, like best I ever did it. Get it off your chest, kid, admit it, you know, like
that's the next record.
Yeah. Like the you know, the Yasin Bey sample one, I'm not a perfect man. Like, you know, I hear these songs and I'm like, fuck, I could have done that, but I couldn't have, you know? And I'm happy that they did, you know? And it's very
to you, man. I mean, again, I'm coming from
Narcy got is crazy. All the shit me and Narcy got is crazy because we're super MCs, you know? And then the shit Omar got me on is like, wow, I wouldn't expect it to be on something like that. I'm very humbled that he chose me to be part of that, you know?
Wow.
And we did that record in person too. That record was done here while Niko and Omar were here.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see them kind of go back and forth.
Wow, bam. Narcy, you dropped obviously Space Time, and again, thank you so much, Yasin, for arranging this and actually putting us all together. You dropped the Space Time in 2018, you know, and we had a chat about it here in Dubai. People can check it out. Now I want to understand from you, now there's a volume 2, so Space Time is like a series, so there's a volume 2, Love and Care. Explain the direction behind the names.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I was working on Space Time, I was very, I was trying to find a way to articulate where I was as a man. It wasn't really about like a rapper or a musician, or in all these different spaces that I was navigating in, whether it be the music industry. The reason I clicked with Niko, for example, was because we very much exist on the periphery of the industry, right? Like we
like that sentence.
We make
just on the periphery of industry.
Like we make music at a high level, and it's undeniable. And Joey and everybody that we work with, like if you put us against anybody, I think we can hang, if not slam dunk. But at the same time, we've chosen in a way to not follow the traditional route of trying to get signed, or not that we don't want success, but we want it in our own terms, right? So with Space Time, that record was very much documenting where I was in that time that I was making it. It wasn't about like reflecting on old stuff. It was like where I was at as a man vis-a-vis my family, or being a father, or politics, or so it was like a very time-stamped kind of record, right? With what I did with Space Time Ultra, which I had been toying with for a while before quarantine and all that stuff. Joey and I had spoken about it, and some of the tracks, like the opening track on the album, was actually one of the last tracks I recorded during the Space Time sessions. So it was gonna be on that record, but it didn't fit in the sonics of the album. So if you listen to these two records back to back, if you listen to Space Time and then Love and Chaos, it's kind of like one long project, right? It's an hour long together.
Yeah.
And whereas Space Time was about opening up to the world and opening up, you throw your dreams into the universe, they'll come back to you. It was really about like opening my heart. This one so it's about going outwards. This one is about going inwards. It's really about like my internal feelings being stuck in a small confined space. And I recorded most of it at the crib, besides maybe 3 of the songs, with my kids around. So they're all over the album. Sundus is on the album. So they're complementary in the sense that they feed into each other sonically, but they're about the two sides of being a Gemini. One is really outward and one is really inward.
Wow. Would this album have made it now if we weren't in this COVID-19 situation?
No. I wouldn't have been so I work under urgency. Like I set my own deadlines, but when you put me under pressure is when I work the best, So I felt like, I can't just sit around and do nothing and wait. This is going to be a hot minute till we get to be on stage again. So I hit up all my super friends, and I just felt like...
Which we'll definitely get into that in terms of the features. Nico, I want you to tell us something about Joey, since you know each other for a while. Maybe something not a lot of people know that you can share, of course, Yanni, Something that...
I don't sample snitch. Thanks, Joey, man. Wow.
In terms of like maybe does he always shock you with the kind of beats, for example, that he bring you? Is there that excitement when you get after all these years?
Yeah, I think it's only gotten better. I think, we as artists, we live in a perfect world in our mind, and sometimes you can't execute that, and that's the worst feeling for an artist, not being able to execute an idea, and I think that we had the concept real early, but we didn't have the execution. We didn't have the 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours, 50,000 hours. And to see Joey now, like being able to execute everything, and it's like, damn, all right, he didn't mix the first albums we had. That's why they don't sound that good. We were outsourcing until, we did the album Unico. We did it in Brazil. When I was with Paulie, right? I said I want to record the album in Brazil. And we went there. We took an engineer, Chris Pummel. We set up in the Airbnb for 2 weeks, and we banged it out. And that was the last album that Joey really didn't mix, After that, he became in charge of everything. I feel like that's when he really figured out how to execute the dream, and be able to play into the artist. Like, you don't just make beats. Like, he's not like somebody who sends beats or go on BeatStars and you lease a ThanksJoey beat. Like, they're custom made. They're like farm to table, It's not just like a little whatever plate,
I love that. Yeah.
I think
he produces. That's why, like, it feels like him and Narcy have been together forever. I feel like they have a sound, and him and Omar, it's like, wow, that doesn't sound like ThanksJoey making beats for somebody. It sounds like somebody who crafted, your dreams sonically and was able to execute them perfectly,
Yeah, so, I have that relationship with Sandhill, with Nawar, but I've been mixing my own shit for 7 years now. Like all my solo albums were mixed by myself, right?
That's great. Narcy does everything, man.
I'm like Joey in that sense that I found that whenever I outsourced my work, that it lost that authenticity that it had, right?
Yep.
So I taught myself to engineer. So I would help Nawada with his mixes or whatever. But Nawada is very much a insular producer. Like he produces at the crib and sends me the work, and then I'll add live lush strings or whatever I add to it, and then send it back to him for feedback.
Yeah,
but,
shout out Nawada, of course. I wish he was with us.
Sandhill is key.
I rapped on the Sandhill beat on the Narcy album.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
frenemies.
I think that the reason I gravitate towards Nico and Joey, number one, is because they remind me of me and Nawar, but also, I'm split between the two of them, where I'm like, I think about strategy and mixing and all these things and releasing like Joey does, but I also have this like free flow rap mind that Nico has. And when I'm with Nico, I almost feel like I get elevated, like my style gets elevated, because there aren't many MCs that make me feel like I need to like push forward.
Wow.
Even strong.
Hey, same, bro.
That's amazing to see you guys. Like I'm watching this and I'm like, that's amazing. Joey,
Narcy's my favorite rapper, bro. Like G Shit.
I know. You keep saying that.
MCs. I listen to him religiously. He makes the records that I can't make. Like Epiphany, like Space, like Only You, like Family Guy. Like these are records I wish I could make sometimes. Like, my shit's not that vulnerable yet. I'm not able to like touch certain spots like that, So when I hear his shit, I'm like, yeah, all right, that's what I wanted to hear perfectly, And it's usually now it's on the Joe beat. It's like, oh man.
But just again, speaking from
all you gotta do, Nico, shoot the club up, have a baby, and that vulnerability comes out. But don't do that. Don't do that. Not yet.
Yeah. No, but just as a fan, I'm just saying, looking back here, this is like a team of superheroes, man. Like seriously, like you got the producers, you got the minds, the business, the passion, the free mind. It's really incredible. Joey, just looking at this, and obviously, you're really a genius in your own way, and this is really incredible to see. I know we've been following each other on Twitter, but the past couple of years we've really been kind of in touch. Speaking about love and chaos, I've had the pleasure of having Narcy send me kind of snippets, and I really love it. It has 10.
I'm lying, man. I sent you the whole album.
Just being the journalist approach. Yeah.
No, man, just telling people the truth.
Yeah. No, that's okay. 10 amazing tracks, man. Very diverse, right? I'm really interested. I love what you have there, Nico. I'm really interested, Joey, if you can explain to us the. I'm trying to talk about the track Avatar featuring Omar Offendum. If you can explain to us, like what? Because again, production. I've never heard production like this before, and I think Yassine really nailed it. It is, huh? Sorry.
It's colors.
Yeah. I mean, it's complex but simple, and I think the question I'm trying to ask: Do you think maybe other than the rappers that we have here, Nico, Narcy, Omar Offendum, how different would it be to have other rappers rap on a beat like this? For ThanksJoey. Like, how do you, like Nico said, that you customize the beats for the rappers?
Right. How different would it be for another rapper to jump on this?
I think.
For me, it's like there's something that Guru from the group Gangstar, DJ Premier.
Yeah.
There's an interview with him that really stuck with me, and I always bring this up, and I've told the guys this before, but Guru was in an interview one time, and he was like, in the early 90s when Gangstar stuff was coming out, everybody came to us and they wanted the Gangstar sound. But DJ Premier is not so much of a beat maker, he's a beat tailor. So people would come to us and he would make a beat that was like the Gangstar sound, but for Nas, or it was like the Gangstar sound before this person, or that person. And so for me, the whole idea behind Colors of the Culture is just exploring these artists, different backgrounds, different where they come from, different sounds. I like to pull sounds from all over the world. So I started working with Nico at a very young age, it was always like, oh yeah, of course, we're gonna flip Brazilian samples. You're Brazilian? No doubt, let's flip some Brazilian samples. With Omar, it was like, oh, you're Syrian too. Let's dig deep and flip some Syrian samples. With Narcy, it's a little different. Narcy's like, yo, I don't want, because you gotta understand too, Narcy, and Omar too, but Narcy especially, and Nawad are like, they set the bar for flipping Arabic.
The Gotar.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, me coming up, listening to them. Like, I remember I showed Narcy to Nico when we were like 18, 19 years old. We were
what was his real opinion?
What was his reaction?
I really want to know. I want to know how Nico was like, fuck is this shit, man? Come on.
It wasn't hit like that. I remember the days, because look, me and Joey, right, in high school, we were trying to, find ourselves, and we were like, making a bunch of music, and we're starting to find a sound, but not really. And then he linked up with my man, Faraz, who's the guy who they did the Lahmet song.
Joey is the genius behind Ana Bahab al-Lahm Ktir. Nobody can take that away from him. I don't know if you remember that song. You remember Ana Bahab al-Lahm Ktir, where that is on the air?
Dude, yeah. Oh, wow.
Joey produced that. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that time, we were just trying to like link up and build, and that's when Joey started producing outside, and he had a plug to, I don't know if you remember Patriarch.
Yeah, I remember Patriarch.
Patriarch. I don't know much, but at the time he started making some beats for him, and that was like his first introduction into like the global world, and him and Faraz were kind of doing something, and he was kind of popping. And I remember hearing the Narcissist at the time, I'm like, wow, this guy, and it was super rap, it was super underground rap. I remember hearing it, like super rap, and that's what we were doing. We were like, me and Joey were just like mini Dipset, we were just doing like Dipset shit, following that doctrine until we found our own sound, so like,
yeah. But Narcy and Sandhill were always like flipping like Arabic samples, it was very, very like prominent in their music. And so when me and Narcy got together, it was like, in my head, it was like, all right, I'm gonna find some like really obscure Iraqi joints, stuff that he probably hasn't sampled before. But he was like,
and I was like, nah.
I want internet shit, just only internet.
Because I did all the Arabic stuff. Like a lot of times, even Arab MCs will come at me and be like, yo, ليش مو بالعربي, ليش شغلك مو بالعربي? And I'm like, listen, I did my ground, like I wrote my Arabic book for you guys already. I did it. Like for me now, I'm just exploring my spirit. I'm not trying to do that culture specifically.
A lot of people get typecast in that, like Kweli, working with Kweli is like that, like Kweli did that Kweli sound for so long, and that conscious, like backpacking revolutionary, like activism rap. And now he still does that. He really lives that, but he just wants to have fun and make records,
Yeah.
And people reach out to him and get him on records, and I'm like, all right, activism rap, we need Kweli, and he's like, all right, I'll do it maybe, but like I'm trying to have fun, like like I'm not over here picketing that much.
Nico, is it hard to balance that, what you're talking about, like that having fun and also staying true to yourself?
Oh, it's very hard when money comes into play, I ain't no trust fund baby, none of us are. So we literally got it out the mud in the South, like me and Joey literally built this. Like Colors is Joey mixing, mastering, producing, project managing with Dima and his wife, and like it's us, and we united with Kweli, and that's my OG. He changed our life. Still got a great relationship, still will always work with him. He's on the album on a 1-bar feature, so we can afford 1 bar,
One line, man.
So like, it's hard not to compromise when you gotta monetize.
Yeah.
Narcy, okay, so the Love and Chaos has 10 tracks. We're very, very, again, very diverse.
Good Air has 10 tracks.
Sorry?
Good Air has 10 tracks too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that Omar Offendum 10 tracks?
Omar might have 10 tracks too.
Yeah, I think I have 10
What? Give me a break.
Great minds think alike.
Oh man, 10. Narcy, do you think Love and Chaos would have been more than 10 tracks or 10 tracks? Was there an additional track you would have added?
I have a bunch of other tracks that are just sitting now. That another one with Nico called OCD that we did, and like 2 other joints that I didn't put on the record. And then me and Joey have a stash of like 6 songs that we're just sitting on right now. That's for the next project. But you know me, I'm constantly working, and I have like demos, and then I have finished songs that I don't put out. But I wanted to be very purposeful with this album and navigate the feelings that I've been feeling over the course of the 4 weeks that we worked on it, and not overthink it and not make anything too long. Like, I want you to listen to it, and it punches you in the face, and then you want to hear it again to go a bit deeper into every song and understand where we're coming from.
I was listening to David Suzuki, obviously the track with you and Nico, and my wife was in the background, and if she said something kind of interesting, she's like, as if they're kind of battling each other to be better, or I don't know, that's how she kind of, you know, and it's kind of very interesting how she heard it as somebody who, you know, I'm putting it on the big speaker, and that's how it felt. Do you feel like? No,
I mean, I remember that session with Nico when we did that song was maybe 6 years ago. Or when we first met. I don't remember when we met 3 years ago. It felt like 6 years ago. But we were in New York, and I had rented a studio, and I just had him and Chasmere come through, and our guy Pummel was engineering. And it was literally the first time me and Nico met after we met in DC.
Oh, wow.
So, and I had listened to his music, and I've been listening to his music for a while, and I was like, yo, just come through, come drop some verses. And we were going in and out of the booth. Like, there was no communication about what we should talk about, what we should do. So yeah, we were kind of just like, oh shit, that verse? Okay, let me drop this verse. So we were just one-upping each other. And then the session finished, and I didn't even get the layers from Pummel. We went on with life, and we had like dumps from the session, but we never touched it. And then when I was working on this record, I was like, yo, I need to hit Chris and get the levels, because I really love those verses. We both have really fire verses.
Oh.
And then Shems came on and kind of completed it. It came together. And I think, like I said, Nico challenges me as an MC, because I a lot of times when I go and start working on projects, I think to myself, I don't want to do a rap project. Like, I can rap for days, but I want to kind of expand my sonics and my palette, and like I end up becoming this experimental artist.
And I just want to shout you out for that, Yassine, because a lot of people that look up to you, especially in this region, let's say, you know, Middle East, and they see that. You know, I had a discussion the other day with a couple of artists. They see that. They like, he's not put in a box. He's now outside this box, which is really incredible. And
what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So yeah, as I was saying, like it's very important for me. Like, the reason I told you let's have the guys on the call is because, like, I've become a collaborative artist. I've always had that. Though my name was the narcissist at first, when I switched it to Narcy, I really switched my approach to music creation and created a universe of friends that like come into the sonic world and leave. Like, we have no ties to anything but each other. So Nico and Joey are very integral. Like, I would have quit if it wasn't for Nico and Joey. I swear, wallahi, I mean, you can ask Joey when I met him. I was like, yo, I'm kind of done with this rap shit. And he was like, nah. There's no way you're done.
That's amazing.
We got work to do, you know?
So you're crazy. I haven't even done anything with you yet. I just got here.
Yo, Yassine, quick. I know you have features with Odyssey in the album, Nadine Ruby, which I really thank you for having. There's a track produced by AY, track produced by Junior T. I don't want to forget anyone. The 2 Live 4 produced by Moon Boots and ThanksJoey. That's amazing. So how did this Odyssey Nadine Ruby track come about? Just tell us, because that's a fire track, man.
When we had our New York sessions, one of the first things I recorded, we set up in the first Airbnb that we were in, and I did that verse. I had written it to that beat, and I just did the verse, and I freestyled that hook. That "How Could I Ever Forget You" was just something we just did, and then we put it aside. And then for a long time, we were approaching a bunch of R&B artists to get on the song, and nobody was responding. Like, we were having.
I know that life.
You know what it is. Life. But I felt like when everybody ended up in quarantine, it forces people to be productive. Like, you can't give me a reason why you can't. I'm busy right now. I can't get the verse done. You can just say I can't do it, or I can do it. So around the time that I was working on the song, I saw Nadine on your show actually on Buckle Up, and I started listening to her work, and I really liked her, like the sound of her voice, the tenor of her voice, and like the way she carried herself. So I hit her up and I was like, yo, I think I would love to get you on this joint. The song has really ended up being about being trapped. Like, how could I ever forget what life was like before all this? That's still a big part of me. Yeah. So she wrote a really amazing verse about that. And then the day after I hit her up, Odyssey called me for something completely separate. And we were having a conversation, and I was like, yo, I've never done a joint with you. And he was like, yeah, we need to get on a joint together. So I was like, yo, listen, I have this joint. I didn't have Nadine's vocals yet. So I sent him the beat, and he was like, I can get it to you by Wednesday. Is that fine? I was like, yeah, of course. So I got her verse on Monday. I got his on Wednesday. Man. The song came together like that.
I think what's amazing about that collaboration, besides that Odyssey's amazing, is that you should, Joey, talk about this, you know, like he's from Silver Spring. Joey lived in Silver Spring for very long. That's where we recorded a lot of music. That's where the last studio was.
Wow.
Why don't you shed some background on that thing,
guys,
Joey?
I'll be back in 1 minute, huh?
Yeah, sure.
He's gonna go make Shanglish.
Shanglish.
Yo, man. Yo, Nico, I know this is the first time kind of with me, but I love you, my man. Like, this is just, your vibe is incredible, bro.
You're one of us,
Jay.
bro. You're one of us.
Oh, man. Honored.
Joey, why don't you tell him about that Silver Spring connection?
Man, it's crazy. I lived in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is right outside of DC. It's a neighborhood right outside of DC, and which is where Odyssey is from. Hey.
I'm so sorry.
That's my wife. My beautiful wife, Dima. She actually designed these new colors, merch that we got.
We'll put the link in the bio down for you guys to support that for sure.
Yeah, man. So Dima, the reason why actually we lived in Silver Spring was because Dima went to law school in Washington, D.C. And then after she finished law school, we got married. We got a crib up in Silver Spring, which is where Odyssey's from, coincidentally, like around that area, DC, Silver Spring area. And me and Nico would come up and stay with us for a long period of time for the 2-3 years that we were up there. We just recorded. Oh my God, Offendum's in the building.
I had to bring in the other superhero right here. He's
genuine smile.
You got 2 minutes left on this call, by the way.
I do. I'm gonna finish this call, since Omar is here. Sup, salam alaikum, Omar Habibi.
You wanna just hang up and we all come back?
Yeah, I'll send you a new link if you can send it through to the guys, Yassine, yeah?
Email it to me and I'll
10 more minutes, you guys. Again, thank you so much for your time, Omar. We're gonna call you right back. Yeah, we're gonna do this again. Peace and love. We're taking a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, put their peace sign. Let's go. We're gonna be right back.
A few moments later.
You shed a tear.
Unintended.
Cheers. I hope you live 1,000 years.
So, like, I think with me and Nico, we have that really punch you in the face rap contest when we're in the studio, but it's not like a spoken thing. With me and Omar, it's been so long that, again, Omar is also on the periphery of the music industry, but really he's much more meticulous than me and Nico. Like, it's almost like when he drops music, there aren't many flaws in his delivery,
conviction.
The conviction, and like there's big purpose and intent behind his work. He takes his time.
We love your Omar, man.
Thank you, man. I love you guys.
So Omar infuses that in us, I think, as well.
I've been watching the Omar videos, and I don't lie, and his approach to like poetic prose is it's incredible.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
He's the poet.
Thank you.
There's not much, improvised animation. I feel like it's really like pocket. Like when he says something, that's why you're such a good orator. I remember Narcy saying, Omar's an orator. Like you're such a good public speaker because
my ghostwriter is a Ouija board.
Yeah, he speaks with a purpose. That's a good bar.
It is, man. I mean, I've always envied these two brothers in particular. They got like, when it comes to like real hip hop lyricism, I don't think they can be touched, Plus they bring their culture through everything they do, which is such a beautiful thing to see. And I think, with Joey, it's like he's literally the glue that brings all of us together, and he gives something different to each person. Like Nico, he's been with him since day one. So it's like they have a rapport that you can't even you can't touch it. And it's that beautiful South American tropical swag that you just feel in the beats and in the lyrics. And then Yasin, you know, it's just like that hard hitting big sound that like almost I get intimidated by. So I step away from those beats, you know, but Yasin jumps all over them, you know what I mean? And then with our record, me and Joey, it's just like, I mean,
Ahmad, can I ask you? Yeah, can I ask you with the record Love and Chaos? Did you select the beat, or did Yasin and Joey send you that beat and say hop on it?
We did that in person.
We did it in person, but actually Joey had played me the sample, played me the beat like months before that, and I told him I loved it and I really wanted to mess with it. And so when Yasin came, we just started writing to it, and it naturally felt like it belonged on his record, you know. So, so I'm glad that it worked out that way. He came to LA, Joey. We recorded it in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Joey, when you look at this, this is about to drop. Obviously, we're doing this May 7th. It will be dropped hopefully this video in a couple of days or so. May 25th. When you look at this and you look at the body of work, you look like there's a couple of producers, obviously with Sandhill, and the other producers. From you, what's the sort of track that you think that people would resonate to more as a producer? I'm asking you, like someone from a production, element.
I think from a production element.
Like someone that would, the beat. This would resonate with a lot of people. Again, in musiqa adwaq, it's a taste thing. But from your perspective,
from my perspective, I think there might be two, right? And it depends on which type of producer you are, which type of person you are, what kind of music you're going to gravitate to. First one I think would be the How Could I, which is the joint featuring Odyssey and Nadine Ruby, which is...
I've always wanted to be an R&B artist, so like Joey is just helping me shape that dream.
Narcy, who produced that track? How Could I?
No, Joey.
Okay,
that's why he's talking about it.
Yeah. So that joint, for me is stepping out of hip hop, because I've always loved R&B. I've always wanted to do R&B stuff, and I get to explore that. I've done it with Nico a few times. I'm getting to explore that with Narcy a lot more. I've definitely been exploring that with Ahmad, especially like in a more upbeat sort of way on our record. But I think that the production on that record is so interesting. It has a very particular pocket in the way that the drums hit. And the whole vibe of the song. It's not something that you would necessarily hear from me, and there's no samples in the record. It's just all me. And I think that's it has very, very interesting sounds that I think people will be interested in. The other joint I think is Avatar, because the sample itself is really, really, a little obscure. It's not your typical Arab record, even though it is an Arab sample that I flipped, because it's very much rooted in jazz. Yeah. But the drums are just like knocking, man. So for me, it's like that's what I get excited about. When I hear that 808 drop, I'm just like, oh, my soul is fulfilled.
Man,
let's go.
Young Joey.
Young Joey.
Hey, that's my first beat right there.
That's a drum kit right there.
Mashallah, man. Yo, send me that picture. We'll put it right here.
I got you, Hassan.
Yeah. Nico, you've been rapping, obviously, after all these years rapping. Do you have a...
Yes, let's go.
Young Nico.
After all these years rapping, for people who are listening right now and they really want to obviously get into it, does it really matter listening to the beat, writing before the beat, or is there a system that you follow like as Nico, or no? Like it's just
Nico's like animal. Nico's like Animal from the Muppet Show. He'll just kill anything.
Devour anything.
That's true. I'm only getting better, bro.
Yeah.
And like there's no one way to do things, Yeah. I think if people get too caught up in like routine, I don't like routine, I eat poutine.
Hey.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Nico and me have that Gemini energy. Like we don't like feeling, I don't know if you want to attribute it to when we were born, but I feel like we both don't like feeling like there's one way to do anything,
I used to do things, I used to have a little routine to certain things, and then I started living. You know, once I started living and my career took off, and you know, like I started touring the world with Kweli a lot and seeing new things, then that shit started writing different records. You know, like I used to, you know, coming up, me and Joey had a way to do it. You know, like I used to work at my mother's computer on her like PC, and I used to be shirtless and boxers, just typing lyrics out and conceptualizing. You know, eating cereal. These days, I don't eat cereal. You know,
nothing's processed.
Nothing's processed.
I will say
the vocals.
Tropical fruit all day, every day.
These days, I like surprising myself. I like being put in weird, you know, like because life did that to me. You know, tour did that to me. You know, I don't ever want to do a show the same way. I never want you to come see Niko and it's like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get. I might be shirtless. I might not even rap my lyrics. I might freestyle the whole show. You know, I don't care. I think it's about an experience to share. You know.
Yeah, but like, I think also, man, when you reach that, when you reach that level, though, when you reach that level, that's amazing. Like for me personally, man, I've seen, for example, Yassine and Omar Offendum, because from 2007 again till now, you know, evolved, you know, to that. Joe, you want to say something?
I wanted to say, yes, Yassine and Niko are probably the two to like pick the wildest beats. You know, it doesn't matter what the record's like, but also at the same time, the other side of that would be, you know, would also pick something that's the most mellow. Like Narcy coming in and being like, I want to do this How Could I record was just like, wait, I didn't know that's what we were gonna come here to do. I thought we were just doing, you know, these like big slap in your faces. But yeah, you never know with these Geminis, man.
We're all over the place.
If you don't have the element of surprise to your creativity, it's going to get redundant and it's going to get stale. And that's what happens even with our idols and a lot of people who used to, you know, set the bar and push envelopes, is that they got too comfortable in their own persona. And then they started just creating, you know, as a product. And once you start creating as a product, you start making, you know, watered down shit. Like, you know, like I want you to always come in my restaurant and I give you a new dish, new flavors. You know, I'm always finding new ingredients. I always got a new type of basil.
Oh, yeah.
A new type of way I'm gonna fry this egg, you know? I don't want you to go to Cheesecake Factory for that. That's why you listen to Drake. You go to Drake, you listen to his shit, he gives you a plate of what's current, and then you move on. And it doesn't touch your soul like that. You know, 20 years from now, you know, you're going to be eating the same chicken marsala plate from Cheesecake Factory, you know.
Niko, are you able to see all of us in your phone, or you have to swipe left or right?
You guys kind of bounce.
You got to swipe. You got to swipe left. You got to swipe left. You can see all five of us.
Yeah.
Shit!
Game changer.
Gallery view. Hey.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I thought it was really important to the way that the organic relationships that we each individually have with each other. It was very important for that to be represented in my work from here on. I think whatever projects I put out, you know, these guys are always going to be there. There's always people that come in and out, but this is this is the team, the rap team or the music team that we've been looking for, including with Nawad, obviously. But
wallah, man, Nawad. Shout out to Sandhill, bro. Like, I remember.
Yeah, I just hit him. I was like, dog, just hop in real quick.
Oh my God,
again, I don't want to take much of your time, you guys, but quick, Omar and Narcy and even, you know, Joey and even Niko, you guys, for people, when I was talking to Sundus, man, shout out to her, check out the Buckle Up with her, really amazing convo. She said something. Book. Yeah, go ahead. Of course.
Go buy that book.
Definitely go buy that book, Shams. She said something kind of interesting. She said, like, the people that are living in the East want to, you know, relate to the West. The people in the West want to relate to the East. It's always been like this. So how do you guys feel right now? Obviously, you're in the West. You're really making impact. Do you feel your experience would have been really 100%, 180 degrees different if you were based here?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think with you know, Omar said it best on his first, his seminal record, Syriana Americana.
Oh.
It's hard living in the West when I know the East got the best. Is that what it is? You got the best of me? Did I screw up your lyrics just now?
No, you got it right.
But I mean.
That's the Buju Banton, though. That's what I came from.
Yeah, and I think, like, had I not had LA as a part of my life, or Montreal specifically as a part of my life, and then going back and forth between the Gulf and then my disconnected relationship to Iraq physically, but this big spiritual connection, I think those all shaped us. And in our early 20s, when we were making music in the beginning, that was like the search. The music was like digging through the earth to find like home, you know? And I think we've accepted that we don't need that anymore, you know? I think we've accepted that the world, we belong to the world, and that our music has to be representative of that, of like our submission to, you know, we submit to Allah and Islam, but we submit to earth in this life, in the dunya that we live in. So it's like, it's become, without a question, I navigate these places without thinking about it anymore. And I think it's the same for Omar, you know?
What about you, Omar?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, I think it's like 150 million Arabs in the diaspora. That's almost half of the population of Arabs in the world. Like we're all over the world. And also even within the Arabic speaking world, people from different parts move around. Like, you know, you're living in Dubai, but you're from Saudi and your heritage might even be different. So I think it's like, just a common theme, even if you dig into like the oldest Arabic poetry, just the idea that we're a people who move, you know what I'm saying? And the idea that we're always longing for this motherland, this homeland. And we realize through this experience of life and moving from one place to another that home is in your heart and in your mind, you know, and you create it. And so for us as poets, as rappers, that's what we do. We create that home that we want to see through the lyrics and the music.
Home is where the art is.
Hey, exactly.
Drop the mic.
Home everywhere.
And I gotta say also, just like for somebody who is originally from the Arabic speaking world, but lives in Los Angeles and has this proximity to Latin culture and to, you know, Central and South American culture, to me, that's the bridge, you know? And so like, I feel this connection that I didn't necessarily have when I was on the East Coast. Now that I'm here, you know, and I even say it on my record with Nico. I say أمريكا كلها غربة بس مو غريبة شلون كل ما قربنا على غرب هالقرابة زادت أكتر لهون. Like we feel it feels more right here.
Yeah,
to me at least. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So even though it's farther, it's just it's more familiar, you know. So
it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same example. I might sound really stupid by saying it, but it's somehow when I see people like Brother Ali, Amir Sulaiman, you know, speak about Islam. They speak about it way better than any, for example, you know,
I know what you mean. Yeah. The sincerity, the pieces. The sincerity piece.
It's because they discovered it at a time, like we take it for granted because we're born in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But they discovered it at a time where it was a necessity for them to survive, and it became such an important part of their life. And for us, I think that disconnection became a big part of our identity.
Yeah, you're right though, Haas. I mean, it's true. Like people take it for granted. You know, when you grow up in and around it, you take it for granted.
Big time. I mean, I lived exactly an hour away from Al Kaaba, you know, in Mecca, and I didn't really go as often as I should. Like it's an hour, and I know people that live like, you know, 25, 24 hours away from that, and they really. I don't know if we can. I want to share my screen if you guys don't mind. I want to play some music and see how you guys. Let's do this. I want to see your reaction on some stuff. Okay. Tell me if you guys can see this. Yeah, and just a thumbs up if you can see this screen. Can you guys see it?
I see it. Yo, how you gonna share my private playlist like that? Nobody knows.
No, I really want to play. If you can hear,
brothers and sisters, friends, and I see some enemies. In fact, I think we'd be fooling ourselves if we had an audience this large and didn't realize that there were some enemies present. But before we get into it, I would like to clarify some things that refer to me personally, concerning my own personal position.
Show the playlist. Not a problem.
Just hit a J like Solange knows. Don't mean to start it off on the wrong note. There were levels to this shit, so we sound cold. We may have lost the war, but we found home. Brown mode like the genie. You ain't never had a friend like me. Ride or die till the end like me. Only change, stay the same. People are strange. Don't look at each other like we do to our screens. They say keep your enemies close. I keep my frenemies closer. All I need in this life is sin. It's my coffee and my nuts like a Lebanese grocer. I feel our dreams getting closer. Talk to trees like I'm Moses. Habibi, we body. Show us the paper like Hariri and Saudis.
Yo, dude, Sandhill, bro, like this. Just real quick, I'm listening to this again. My wife is like, "What is this, Habibi Ya Aini?" Like this is like, way, just is really, really incredible. Guys, listen, I just want to say, I'm super proud of all of you guys. The way this, like you said, Yassine, the way it's like a superhero team, and it's really amazing and a blessing. And I want to shout out, of course, Sandhill and the other producers. Yassine, quickly, AY has a record with this. Is this the first time you work officially with AY? Shout out to Harmony.
I did a remix of I usually go to AY and Mo's crib, and when I'm in Dubai and we just talk for hours, we don't end up making music. I think I'm a bit of an anomaly when I come out to Dubai and people are like, how do you do what you do? So we just like talk about the pitfalls of the things that I've been through. And then I recorded a remix of one of Mo's songs. I don't remember which one it was.
Wow.
And then when I was working on this record, the Mask joint I had recorded at the crib, and I had the vocals for a minute, and I did it to the Future beat. Like it was to Mask by Future.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a parody of that joint, because my most political songs now have become auto-tune songs. Like I think the way I approach politics is from a very sarcastic place now, and I want it to be in the sound of current events sonically for it to be ingested in a very easy, simple way, right? So I was thinking, like, who could actually produce this song for me? And I hit AY, and he turned it around in less than 24 hours,
Yeah.
So I always wanted to work with him. I think he's such an important person because he has that same drive, but he's almost stuck in the wrong city.
Yes. Yeah. Nico, maybe you can shed some light on this. There's a lot of people listening to this right now, and they feel they are really in the wrong place, but they have nowhere to go. And they're really, I'm talking rappers, artists, not necessarily only rappers, singers. We have an amazing, incredible talent. Like just now, it was just announced a while ago that one of the producers who work in Dubai, Rayan Bailouni, is going to be actually having a 1-hour conversation with Hit Boy on Instagram. And I think that's a really, that's a really big deal through Nomad, which is a platform over here that's really trying. So that connection, I think we need that. And again, you hear people like Frederick, for example, going on my show one time and saying, you don't need that collaboration with a Western artist if you're from the Arab world to make it. What can you say about that?
I think that in 2020, I don't think location really matters, man. With the internet and with your intent,
especially now,
I think you can get your message across in a very honest way just through the internet, just like targeting your demographic, just knowing who you're speaking to. That's the thing. Like most people are just making mindless product, mindless content, and it's not speaking to nobody. And that's why it's not really working. Like me and Joey, man, we grew up in Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida is a transitional place, Nobody's really from Orlando. It's a man-made city, So it's like, he's from New York. I was born in Brazil. We met here. We bonded over, like I liked 3 6 Mafia. He liked, Rockefeller. And then we came together and, mixed that. Like it's, that's not the perfect place, but what's the perfect place? For a long time, people blame their surroundings for not having success, and my success didn't really start until I started traveling and hitting new cities, and representing my shit and going here, going there, and then people are like, oh, okay, now you're moving. Because that's the thing, when you're stuck in your city, man, it gets stagnant if you're just trying to sing for artists, like artists get caught in this, I'm just going to perform for other artists, and then you do open mics, and then you do situations like that, and it's a whole crowd of artists. There's no real fans. There's no real people that are enjoying it. It's just like I'm selling my product, and then you get on stage and sell your product, and it's very mindless, So I think we're starting to find more like comfort in being able to just be ourselves wherever we are. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Joey's in LA now, and it's helping a lot. I think being in a place like LA is incredible because you don't know what you're going to run into. Like being in Orlando, I think it's some of the most incredible artistry I've ever seen, but it's stuck here. And there's not much growth. There's a plateau, until you start to look outward and be like, you know what, fuck this. I don't need that. I don't need, you know, regional support as much as you did in the 90s, you know, because in the 90s you had to sell shit out your trunk, or, you know, you had to really be ingrained in the community to get unity. Now it's just you and me. Ain't nobody gonna ruin me.
There it is.
Amari, you wanted to chime in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, I agree with what Nico said. You know, to your point specifically, Haas, I think, you know, it's a question of why people there feel that they need validation from the West. And I think, you know, it is kind of sad. There's an internalized sort of like insecurity piece. Like, you know, it's not good unless it comes from there. To be honest, I even feel it like when I come to perform in the Middle East, people are like, oh, he's a real rapper because he's coming from America, which is not true. You know what I'm saying? And I think like another thing is that people expect something to happen with their first record. And then if it doesn't, they're like, oh man, this is not working. You don't understand that it's like a lifelong commitment to this art, and to, like, you know, Nico said, you only get better with time, and only by doing the work and continuing and being consistent over the years.
That's true.
Can you develop as an artist, and can your fan base grow? I mean, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that, especially these guys here, like all of us, it's kind of like this funny thing where we feel like we felt like we were ahead of our time. And so now all of a sudden the numbers are growing because young people are catching up to us, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so
I also think that, sorry to cut you off, I think that as far as this world shit that we're all doing, you know, we're all like worldly artists now, you know, people always equate success and validation with America's opinion of you, right? And I never feel at home anywhere. That's why I'm home everywhere. You know, like I went to Brazil, I played shows in Brazil with me and ThanksJoey, and we played to, you know, thousands and thousands. And at first they were confused, and they're still confused. That's why I'm not the biggest artist in the world, you know, because people don't know what to make of something that's unique and different and culturally encompassing. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he Brazilian? Is he American? Oh, but he was born in America. So like Brazilian people have a little, you know, you go to Brazil, the scene, it's amazing, right? It's blowing up more than ever, but they're just following America's plan. You know, they're trying to rap like Americans. They wear the American clothes. They think that that's where it's at. You know, you listen to Famous Dex and they rap like that. And, you know, there's some people that are, you know, represent their culture and originality, but for the most part, they're seeking validation from America because America created hip hop and that's what they think is dope. But who needs the love of America when you have the love of your homeland? You know what I'm saying? Like, people got to stop trying to find like validation in that. Like, oh, it doesn't matter until Rap Caviar posts. Like, man, who cares? There's people in Brazil who are, you know, have way more followers than fucking, you know, whatever the followers mean. And, you know, they're playing shows to 20, 30,000 people. They got their own shit, but they want to blow up in America. But America don't give a fuck about them. You know, America don't even give a fuck about America. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of hard for you to be on some cultural shit here, you know, and try to pitch it to them because they want this, you know, they want that.
I think also, Haas, if I can chime in and add to this, is it takes really two things, you know, when it comes to approaching your art for you to feel successful. You know, combined, all four of us in here have over like 40 years of experience, 10 years each, if not more, in what we do, right? And there were moments in all of our careers where we were like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're not making enough money. We're not living off of this art. Our audiences, you know, we came at a time where the internet was coming and streaming took over, and like the format of consuming music changed while we were at the you know, not the peak, but we were learning to create. So I think it's important to learn to create and be authentic in that part, but also plan how you release your music. And it might not hit now, but it might hit, you know, Alhamdulillah is still to this day my most streamed song. When I put it out at the time, 10 years ago, it was a dud. It didn't hit. The video hit like 5,000 views and that was it. But it took years for it to pick up and eventually for it to become a placement in a film, for it to become a song that sustains me at times when I don't have any income, right? So I think artists have to look at it as long game if they're ready for it. Obviously, in a city like Dubai, it's extremely difficult to survive without money. And it's a creative ecosystem that is not ground up, you know, it's kind of up and down. So it's hard for an artist to feel confident in a place where it's really first driven by capital. Where we came at a place where I played at venues for 20, 30 people for 5 years before I hit a real stage, you know? And then when I hit a real stage, I was opening for artists for free. And then like meeting my idols and getting crushed by how much of an asshole they were backstage. And then like eventually being able to rock our own shows and our own audiences. And only now are we feeling like confident enough to be like, I think we can tour together.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and then Corona happened, and now
Corona,
we can't go anywhere.
You can't tour at all.
Oh, man, bless. Wallahi, yeah, you're right. But Omar, you said something I think very important here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Syriana Americana took like 10 years to put out. Am I wrong? Or like something like that?
Well, I think it's been 10 years since Syriana for the next record to come out.
No, but it took a lot of time. Like
it took time. I'm the kind of person that just takes a lot of time. Like, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's just me. Took me a while to even be okay with that, you know, but I've learned to accept that about myself, and that's, you know, that's how I approach it. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, go ahead.
Joey, when you, we have like 6 minutes. Again, thank you guys so much. And sorry I took much of your time. Wallahi, I really apologize, but the discussion is amazing. Joey, just quickly going back to Love and Chaos, what did you learn from listening to the whole kind of project? And this question goes to all of you guys. So thanks, Joey. As a producer, listening to the rappers and listen to the lyrics, has there anything, with everything that's going on right now with this situation, COVID-19,
it's important to state though that Joey helped me mix the album. He mixed all his joints, but he helped me mix that, and then he mastered the whole record. Bam. And then I put it together. So I'm pretty sure you have, like, you know, you obviously listened to the to the album fully. What did you learn as Joey from Love and Chaos?
I learned, man, in times like this, in dire situations when we're not able to go anywhere, we're not able to, you know, meet up, that there's no excuse to get anything done, right? Like Yassine literally hit me, and within a matter of weeks, we were able to compile all of this music together and create an entire incredible album. And not just between us two, like, you know, going back and forth with beats, but like sourcing other producers, sourcing other artists, getting people to you know, submit verses. You know, I learned that art's a beautiful thing, man. When you really love it, you're gonna want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no like thing that would step in your way if you want to do something. You know what I'm saying? And this just proves it.
Dope. Nico, what about you? Like, just listening, maybe. Have you heard the whole full album?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 8 times, 88 times. I got the hardest verse on there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got anything to say, Omar?
He's humble, man. No, not at all. He's probably right.
No, but seriously, what have you learned from the album as Nico? Again, you've been doing your thing for quite some time now. As a rapper, as a human being, we'll listen to the whole kind of project.
Oh, I think it's incredible. I think his attention to detail is so inspiring, you know, like we're so similar in a lot of ways, but I'm not that detailed. That's ThanksJoey right there, you know, like I just throw the ideas out there, you know, and, you know, I put my splashes on the canvas, and then he kind of organized it beautifully, you know. And to see Narcy's projects like that, like, yo, they're all very cohesive, you know, they sound like they should run in together, and he puts a lot of time and care in this drop here and how this sounds here, you know, where my shit's more abstract, like, you know, it's real inspiring, man. I really like this project a lot. I really like the last one, you know. I don't know if it's better, I don't know what it is, but I know it's fresh and I know it's unique. And it you know, I think that the way we're making albums, like, every album shouldn't be better, it should just be different. Yeah. You know, like, because what's better, you know, one thing hits a certain nerve, you know, like Unico to me was an incredible album, and then we did Good Air, and it was like, wow, we recorded most of Good Air in 2017, you know, and like me and Joey work a lot, like 14. We got 8 albums ready to go.
14, wow.
2014.
Oh shit, 2014, yeah. And, you know, now we're just getting to releasing that, you know, like, and it's a constant rollout of us playing catch up with our old music, you know.
Nice.
So I'm really happy that this is coming out. I'm really happy Omar's album's coming out. It's really good. You know, I don't understand half of it because it's in Arabic, but it sounds.
Me neither.
Really, even the song I'm on with him is amazing. Pacific Siriano. You should play that.
Bam.
So good. The beat is so good. Like, Omar is like, I think he's one of the best with melodies, you know, and he sounds like he's not singing, but he's singing and it sounds beautiful. And it's like that Arabic, like timbre that just hits you in a different way, you know, like, and you get that with Narcy too. Like he's great with melody. Like,
yeah, I mean,
all of that,
again,
the song we did, like,
that's super dope, man.
There that is just like, oh man, that's great. I can't hit that note, you know. That's great.
We have 3 minutes and 30 seconds between Omar and Yasin. Omar, for you, again, I just want to say that, you know, listening and listening to some of the new stuff that you're getting, like Nico said, I feel that you're rapping more in Arabic right now. Like there's a little bit more in it. Is that a right feeling? Like more of it. You've always done it, but now I feel that the percentage of it is just
maybe. But I think like I just think like
Shoo Mafi.
Shufi Mafi. I think it's just honoring the fact that now because of the way that, you know, the social media works, I have so many more fans from the Arab world who are logging on, who are supporting, and so I want to show them love. You know what I mean? And that's what that is. Plus, the older I get, the more it means to me. You know, to teach the language to my kids. So it might be.
God bless, man. Wallahi.
I'm also rapping less in English. You know, like English is getting boring. Like fuck that,
man. We've done it all.
Mad shit,
man.
Done it all.
Guys, wallahi, I love you so much. And in the last 2 minutes, Yasin, what did you learn from this album? Like, what is it? You know, going, you know, listening to the whole thing.
I'm just not
the best that ever did it.
I'm the best that ever did it. Admit it. I think I'm not gonna overthink music anymore. Music is just a facet of the things that I do. It's become very like an extra limb, like it's just something that I'm able to do now. I don't want to overthink projects anymore. Like this proved to me that we could put together something that's very strong without, you know, overproducing, overthinking the lyrics. Like just be free and I think it's important to look at these 3 albums as a trilogy together. Good Air, Love and Chaos.
It's a trilogy.
And then Lost in Translation. These albums really sit together. So go listen to Nico's record. Go listen to Omar's record when it comes out in June, hopefully.
We have less than a minute. I want you guys to put your peace sign up in there. Thank you so much for being with us. Offendum, I can't wait for your album.
Big House Avocados coming soon, you know what I mean?
Inshallah. Yo, that's funny. Joey and Nico, it's an honor to meet you virtually. Offendum, you know I love you, man. Big up to everything that you do, my brother. Yasin, thank you so much for always elevating me. Sandhill Makankum Khali, my brother. We love you, man. Joey, peace and love. And I'm going to listen to this album. Everybody put their peace sign out. We're going to say bye, everybody.
Joey.
Call us.